nobody else has any questions for you guys can hop off, and Mr. Phillips and I will continue on talking about the legacy program. Let's see. All right, Felix doesn't have any more questions. And Mr. Phillips, instead of going back on, I can edit this and make 2 different videos on my MacBook. So we can
whatever you choose, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll just continue on if you'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess all the young ladies, y'all can log off, and the legacy program is for males
only.
Yep. So, but thank you.
But there's good information. So, you know, if they want to stay on and learn about this, maybe they have a brother, a cousin.
I would say the same. Share it with someone.
All right. That sounds good. That sounds good. Do you want to try to pull up your PowerPoint on your own computer?
Do you have it pulled up and ready?
I do have it pulled up and ready.
And I can talk through it. Basically, I wanted to have the PowerPoint so that if any interested students, they could kind of see what type of activities. I don't want to really spend a lot of time on those, but I do want to kind of show what the school year would look like if they were to be a participant in the legacy program. So if you want to drive, you certainly can.
Okay.
And then I'm turned away from my other computer. I was able to switch it, so I'm looking at you all. So
okay. Do you want me to go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint?
You can.
Okay.
And I can talk a little bit about what Legacy is about. Okay. So Legacy is a minority male success initiative, a state-funded program for first-generational college participants. It is for men of color. So any non-white male students can access the program and can share in the experience here on Davidson County Community College campus. And so we extend invitation to all men of color to participate in the program because the initiative is to, of course, to increase student success, to keep them on streamline of persisting through the academic experience, and then to graduate or transfer, whichever they choose after they've completed their program. Legacy is like having, and I say it all the time, it's like having that magical ball in your favor, because I'm solely set on this campus to advocate for those students. So I like to advocate in a more proactive approach as opposed to reactive. So my goal is to connect with those men of color on our campus, develop a relationship, and then really advocate for things that they may need. It could be financial issues. It could be socioeconomic issues that they're dealing with, their stress, depression. My job is to really link them. And so that's all I'm really set here for. And so let me tell you just a little bit about the program. And can you pull up the PowerPoint if it's possible?
Yes, sir. Hold on just a second. I'll go ahead and, I'm sorry, I probably should have.
That's okay. So while you're pulling it up, if it's easier for me to keep talking, I got here on the campus last November. So next month will be 12 months, a year of being here. But I came from a four-year institution in Forsyth County, Winston-Salem State University, where I served in enrollment, and I was assistant director of freshman admissions. So I've spent the last 4.5 years there recruiting at the high school level, speaking with high school counselors, principals, doing a lot of presentations, much like we're doing today, to get students at the high school level ready for the college experience. So I bring to this seat some of those experiences to help men of color understand the importance of an education and not just being here, but finding success in it. So there are a number of components that I would like to just kind of briefly talk about. I won't talk long, but we want to provide both the academic and professional development component to what Legacy does. So as much as I'm here to help you academically, the other piece to that is to help you professionally. And that happens in two forms. That is connecting you with men of color on our campus, because that then creates a mentor experience, a networking experience, because it has been proven that having those connective pieces on the campus itself creates another support system for those men of color who oftentimes don't have it. So, you know, in layman's terms, they're on a campus, but they don't see anybody who look like them. So aside from the academics, the professional development is, you can go to the next slide. There we go. Exactly where I want to be. The next slide is what we call the Minority Male Mentoring Coalition. So every man of color that I've been able to connect with so far, these are those men who have signed up to say, I'm a support system. So they become connections for every man of color on our campus, so that if you need someone and you can't find Terry Phillips, there's Ken Kurt, who is the director of athletics, who is readily accessible for any help. If I'm in, faculty experience and I just need to talk to somebody on the faculty side, we have Paul Campbell, and we can go through the listing of those representatives that are here. So we meet in conjunction with any participants who are in our program, so that we are creating a network of relationships, right? So that if I can talk to you in the lounge, then I'm more likely to come to your office. So that coalition is here on campus right now, and all of these men of color are situated throughout our campus as a connective touch point for our men of color. You can go to the next slide. So our goal is to connect, enhance, help navigate, and support. So that's all we're doing. If you're having an issue in class, then you want to come to us so that we can help enhance that experience and help you navigate through whatever problems you're having. If we're dealing with housing issues, and we've had that since I've been here, we go to those places to help you find the resources you need so that your housing issues can be resolved and you can be in the classroom without the anxiety of what am I going to do when I leave class and I have to go back home. So in all of those ways, we're trying to just help them be successful, and the more successful we are at reducing the stress level of being on campus, more likely they are to remain here. You can go to the next slide. Under the academic and professional, we do the one-on-one. So outside of here, I'm a life and academic coach. So we use some of those strategies to help those students stay connected through one-on-one personal touches. The networking we've already talked about. So now we have the one-on-one, we have the network. You can go to the next slide. And if I'm talking too fast, you can slow me down, but this is what we do. Then the third piece is the professional shadowing. So this is where we take the students off campus. So we have already made some networks within the Davidson County, Forsyth County, where I'm from. So I have a lot of connections there. Well, we take these men of color to the work site, to the offices, to the organizations that they work in, and allow them to have a one-on-one kind of experience of what that professional work experience looks like. And then the last piece is the leadership now. When we come back to campus, we're now promoting these students to become active in the SGA or active in other student-led organizations, so that by the time they graduate, they have now developed some skills that you don't necessarily get from the academic experience, but now from the social experience. How am I able to understand my leadership skills and then put those into work once I've graduated? So how do we do that, the leadership now? We use conferences and workshops, and so it's twofold. Those are those that exist on campus and those that exist off campus. So the first bullet number 5, gives what we have done so far. So we've had 2 events called Storm Diverse, where we really this was a campus experience where we just dealt with the social issues, and all students had to really do was to show up, to just kind of feel the experience and then give them an opportunity to talk about what the experience was like after. In September, we had a national keynote speaker who came and talked about student success initiatives. And I'm telling you, I'm 51 with a master's degree. I enjoyed this experience. He was able to talk about a lot of components, and he was able to use people such as Chris Paul, LeBron James, that he was able to play ball with while he was in high school in Greensboro. He went to Smith, and so he's able to kind of, give us some real life people that we have at least identified with, and to look at their success track, to look at the success track that he's taken, which landed him in the career he's in now, which is pretty much life coaching. So he travels the US and college campuses. He does a lot of organizational workshops where he's talking about being successful. So that was phenomenal. We're in COVID-19. We had pretty good attendance, but my goal is to bring him back in the spring, because I just believe that the nuggets he was able to give us was worth having us revisit that again. So we're either going to look at doing that in the spring or kind of reintroducing that next fall. Alpha in the Spring currently is set as in-person experience, but it will be virtual if we are still where we are. But we wanted to give the students, men of color in particular, opportunities to kind of socialize in a kind of controlled environment. So I have one of my colleagues who is an artist as well, who will come and we will talk about different topics surrounding men of color while we're doing a paint experience. And so that's slated for March. You can go to the next slide. I won't go through each of these, but all of these conferences are off campus. Most of them are now going from in person. And I'm telling you, I attended some of these in November and the first of the year, and they are phenomenal experiences. So the goal is to really take these men off the campus and out of Davidson community and take them to places that perhaps they haven't gone yet, so that it can be exposed to other student leaders on other college campuses. And so you see that the focus is on either men of color that are African-American descent or Latino. So, but they are exposed, there are opportunities for all of the men of color, no matter what your race or ethnicity is. And I'm extremely excited, probably more excited than the students. I'll tell you, so tomorrow is like the National Student Leadership for Diversity Conference. It's virtual. I'm gonna spend my Saturday because the information is just powerful. We do have some students who will participate, but it was kind of hard to get them to commit to 9 to 4 on a Saturday. But these conferences do cost, but the grant funding for my role also provides coverage for those students. So none of the students have to pay anything for any of these venues that I've spoken of. And so that's just another highlight. We can go through the slide. I think we can go through this slide too. These are just highlights of these people. And then so the last slide that I want to talk about is some other national conferences. One that I truly wanted to participate in that has now been slated out for next fall is the Men of Color National Summit on Clemson University. Phenomenal speakers where they bring a lot of high profile leaders in and talk about issues concerning that. And then the last piece is the mentoring component of our grant, where the attempt is to get these men of color here to each one reach one. So as they're being influenced, we want them to influence other men of color, because what we have found, even on our campus, is that there are very few men of color who are interested in this program, and to be quite honest, in a lot of the academic programs that we have here. And so we want to really raise the interest and the engagement for academic success. And you can go to the final slide, I think. I know it's a few more. That's another visual. And then the final piece of it is at the end of the year, we do a bow tie fair where we recognize those students. This year, although we got set back by COVID-19, we had two phenomenal students who were in the program. One who's now a junior at UNCG, and the other one who's a junior at Chapel Hill. And so, you know, and I'm not going to say that Legacy had like this leverage that influenced them to be successful. I do know that my contact with them in this office from the male perspective did, in fact, create an influence that made them more confident about their next level of academic experience from Davidson County Community College. And then the last piece was a highlight. Well, we don't have to do those. Highlights was we went to DC we did that in March, right before they shut down.
Yeah.
Phenomenal 4 days of exploring college campuses, exploring the Capitol. Was just a phenomenal experience. And we hope to be able to repeat that again once we have gotten beyond COVID-19. So a lot of things that my office is providing student men of color, and we want to invite those students who would come from the Lexington High School and all of the surrounding high schools to participate in our program, because we have a lot of resources that we certainly would like for them to have while they're here. And that's it for me. Any questions from you guys?
Wow, it sounds like there's a tremendous support system going there.
Yeah. And now the goal is, honestly, is to get guys to sign on. There's something of what I consider a stigma about this particular role. But what I've found is that in a lot of the other campuses, it is just really a challenge to get them to sign on and understand the benefits of it. Now, at the four-year institutions, it's an easier ticket for those students to sign on. But oftentimes, the students at the two-year institution shy away, and we're still knocking on their doors, sending them emails, texting them, reminding them that we're here.
Oh, wow. You know, is this something that, like, whenever I have students that decide they want to go the two-year transfer route and they apply to DCCC, should they be applying to the Legacy program as well?
They should. And I often try to, and this was before, COVID-19, is when we're having the presentations for those students who are here to learn more about enrollment pieces. I typically try to be present so that their handouts, and they can have a real person to say, I know this guy, and for me to in turn be able to do the same, so that when they do enroll, they're automatically given to me as a man of color. So then I do reach out via email, through our systems using Starfish. They are automatically included, but they have to volunteer to be a part of it. So there's no real application that they have to complete. They qualify by virtue of being a man of color.
Does anybody have any questions? I mean, that sounds like a great program. I'm definitely going to push it. I didn't realize you had it, so I will push it for.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As you can probably discern, I'm passionate about it. I'm a first gen. I'm number 11 of 12 siblings, but I'm the only one who have gone to college. Currently, I'm the only one that have experienced college, earned a degree. As I said before, I have now a master's degree. If I don't kill myself next year, I'll start the PhD program. And so I know that it has a positive impact, but you have to find those students. And this is it. The students who already on that pathway doesn't really need it. It's the students who are struggling, who are not performing, who do not utilize it. And those are the students that I really want to reach.
Gotcha. I will be keeping my eyes out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody have anything? I know we had a couple students stay on.
Terry, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And those of you who are still on, and Mr. Tongel has the emails and contact information for myself, Ms. Varner, and also Mr. Phillips. So if there's any questions you want to follow up with, if you want a tour, if you want to come to campus and meet with Mr. Phillips or myself or Ms. Varner, please reach out to Mr. Tongel and he'll give you our contact details and we'll make that happen.
Yeah, that's right. Felix and Caesar, if you, man, I'm here for you. Just shoot me an email and I can try to set something up. So, all right. Well, thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you, both of you again.
Thank you. Tell him it's free. It's all free. It's all free.
All right, everyone have a great weekend.
All right.
Take care. Thanks.
See ya.